everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Jen. And if you've been along with me the whole way, hey, I'm glad you're watching today. But today is Sunday, which means Sexy Sunday. And today we are going to talk about something that's slightly controversial even in today's time. But we are going to talk about tattoos. Yeah, that's right. We are going to talk about where they started from, and where we are a little bit today, right? So I'm sure you can see that I have several. I think I have, I don't know, somewhere up around 30, 40. But having tattoos is a controversial topic even today. I mean, there are still split views on the topic of skin art, but you know, the last time I checked, this is not the Dark Ages, is it? Well, maybe. It might still be the Dark Ages in some places. Definitely where I come from, they're still living in the Dark Ages. But some people think tattoos are sexy as hell. And then there are people who think if you even have a tiny one, you're going to hell, my friend. Now, everybody has the right to their own opinion, but nobody has the right to judge anyone else. So, with that said, for our thoughts today and what we're talking about today, we're going to agree with those people who think tattoos on a man or a woman is the sexiest thing ever. Let's first talk about what tattoos actually are. They are a form of permanent body art. The body is modified with pigments inserted into the skin to change its color. And it is a very old tradition. And y'all, there are a multitude of different cultures all over the world that incorporate them into their religious beliefs and just into their culture in general. Even though societal attitudes toward tattoos have changed over the years, there are still those who still look at you like you're a criminal if you have tattoos. And you know, tattoos are a personal piece of art. I mean, it represents something for the wearer, and they have been used as amulets, status symbols, declarations of love, and adornments, or even signs of religious belief. Do you believe that? And some people have even used them as forms of punishment. Now, tattoos have evolved over time and date back thousands of years. There is evidence that tattooing is an ancient art form that began between 3370 BC and 3100 BC. You heard that right, BC. Now, the earliest known tattoos on bodies were found on several female mummies, and they were dated 2000 BC. But there was a recent discovery of an Iceman found in the area of the Italian-Australian border in 1991, and that pushes the date back thousands of years because he was carbon dated to be around 5,200 years old. And before, the Iceman tattooing seemed to be exclusive to females, so it was thought that these women were tattooed because they were the concubines of royalty in Egypt. And now this was ruled out. Oh yeah. It was ruled out when one of the women found was actually, get this shit, a high priestess named Amunet. It is now thought that these females were using tattoos as amulets to protect them during a difficult time of pregnancy and birth. This thought now is supported by patterns of distribution of dots applied over the abdomen. And when they looked at these patterns, the patterns meant to keep everything in. And they found tattoos of the deity Bes at the tops of their thighs. And this is meant as an amulet for a safe birth. Now, back then, tattoos was a purely female custom. It is thought that older women of a community would create the tattoos for the younger women, and that was in the 19th century Egypt. And this still happens in some parts of the world even today. And it is, the tools that they used was a sharp point set in a wooden handle. And the archaeologist W.M.F. Petrie found a set of small bronze instruments resembling wide flattened needles at the ancient town of Garab, and it tied together. And if they were tied together, they would give the repeated pattern of multiple dots. And these instruments are remarkably similar to the tools used for tattooing in the 19th century. And ancient Egypt and India used tattoos as methods of healing and religious worship. They were also marks of status in society, but some marks were a form of punishment. We talked about that. In the Philippines, they were marks of rank and accomplishments. And people believed that tattoos had magical properties. Now, in the ancient Britons, they used tattoos as a mark of high status. And one Romans called a northern tribe Picti, which literally means painted people. You see, the Greeks and Romans used tattoos, and they called them stigmata, largely as a means to mark someone as belonging to a particular religion. They also used them to mark slaves as belonging to a certain owner, or even to mark someone as a criminal. Ancient Greeks and Romans tattooed their slaves and criminals so they could be easier to identify if they escaped. And the Chinese, they did this too. Now, the Christians felt that tattoos disfigure that made in God's image. And so tattoos were banned by the Emperor Constantine in the years 306 to 373 AD. And y'all, that is still the thought today. Let me tell you, I come from a Christian background, and nobody else in my family has a tattoo, and they think that it's the most terrible thing there is. But I think that is just a permanent way for you to personalize yourself. I mean, I might be made in God's image, but this is my body, and I'm going to do with it what I want. And, well, my family probably wouldn't agree with that. My dad was a biker, owned a bar, real tough guy, right? You know how many tattoos he had? 0. You know how many he would allow me to have? 0. So he's not here with me anymore to say, you can't do it. But modern Japanese tattoos are real works of art. Highly skilled tattooists of Samoa continue to create their art all through ancient times and prior to the invention of modern tattooing equipment. Various cultures throughout Africa employ tattoos with the fine dots on the faces of Berber women in Algeria. Wadobe men in Niger, they have an elaborate facial tattoo. And even Egypt's Christian Copts had small crosses on their inner forearms. Really? There is evidence that tattooing was practiced in Portugal, France, and Scandinavia. Yeah, they found tools that was at least 12,000 years old. But now, when Christianity appeared, tattooing was considered a barbaric tradition, and it slowly faded in Europe until its return with oceanic travels. You see, travelers to the New World often brought their tattooed slaves with them, causing it to spread to the United States. Now, At first, the only people who had tattoos were sailors and lower class. But over time, tattoo artists became more proficient, and tattooing became the hobby of aristocracy. Aristocracy means aristocrats did it. And these people had the money to pay high prices of the professionals. But then, tattooing became cheaper, and it was once again seen as a mark of a lower class, and stayed that way until the hippie movement in the 1960s. And y'all, that is when it changed. It went from being deviant behavior to an acceptable form of self expression. It became so mainstream in the 1960s that Mattel made a tattooed Barbie. I've never saw a tattooed Barbie. But I'd sure like to have one. And mine is a form of self-expression. The henna, I wanted my henna to be permanent, and henna comes off. So my henna will never come off. I have a matching tattoo right here that one of my daughters, I don't know if you can see that, one of my daughters has a tattoo that matches. My husband and I have one that matches with the hearts and the heartbeat. And y'all, my wedding ring is even tattooed on. And that came about because I worked in manufacturing and wasn't allowed to wear jewelry because it would get caught in the equipment. So we needed a way, I wanted to show the world that, hey, I'm happily married. And my husband is a tattoo artist, so he just went and got his tattoo gun, and now my ring is tattooed on. I mean, I got my wedding band, I got a diamond engagement ring, but my ring is tattooed permanent, and I like that. And that's not for everybody. And I'm not saying tattoos are for everybody. And I still have people say things to me about my tattoos, or judge me over them, or ask why. And personally, I think people need to mind their own damn business. This is mine. This is me. You do you, and let me be me. But now, after World War II, now hepatitis was a big problem. So many places had a ban on tattooing. And some of those places didn't lift that ban until fairly recently. If you are a tattoo enthusiast or are a tattoo artist, you'll be happy to know that tattoos appeared in different parts of the world almost independently and at the same time, with different styles and techniques developed and then mixed together. Some people see tattoos as an act of rebellion against society. And if that is why you got your tattoo, then you're a leader. But that's not the only reason why people wore and still wear tattoos. Now, people of both sexes, economic class, and of all ages can now wear the tattoos if they want to. Because, in the early 2000s, 15% of Americans had tattoos. That means at least 1/5 of the adults in the United States has at least one tattoo. Now, if you get older and think that tattoo that you got while you were drunk and you just don't like it or just don't suit you anymore, fear not. There is a way to get rid of them. The most effective way is by laser removal. And laser breaks down pigment particles into smaller pieces that the body can absorb, so the body can get rid of them. But I've heard that that is expensive and not to mention very painful. So make sure you want that art first. And for those that love tattoos but hate needles, there's an alternative for you too. There are temporary tattoos applied with henna, ballpoint pen, or you can get those water soluble stickers. kids get them, put them on there, put it on with water, and then it comes off. But um, all of that will look terrible before it's all the way gone from your skin. I mean, it just looks bad when it starts peeling off. And there was a rumor a few years ago that we would have to pay money for every tattoo we had when we paid taxes. Y'all, I would be broke. But how could they even enforce this? When you go into the H&R Block and they want to see all your tattoos, you gotta go in naked and they count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is $500 more you owe on your taxes. Give me a fucking break. But my husband is a tattoo artist, and a lot of mine came from him learning. I was the guinea pig, but he is really good at it. And mine all mean something to me, and I personally don't care if you like them or you don't. This is my body, and I'm going to do what I want. This is my art form, and this is my favorite. The one that goes up here. They look different this way, don't they? And I got a butterfly back here, but I got my little ones' names on my arms. And I got one here that actually means I will not fear the judgment of others. And some of you actually know me personally and know I have never cared what other people think. But anyways, that's my spiel for today. And if you like your tattoos, you love your tattoos, you get one, you'll want more. That's just the way it is. You get addicted, I guess. But I think that just with everything else, you can take it too far. I would never put it on my face. And those people who get their eyeliner tattooed on or their lipstick, maybe. But those people who get their eye color tattooed, people can do that now. No. Can I get a hell no? But for the most part, people should mind their own business and don't judge anybody else, especially if you don't know them. You haven't walked a mile in their shoes, then don't judge them. And I'm sure that somebody's going to have something to say about this. Oh well, I guess. Well, anyways, I hope that you found something interesting in this. Like and share and subscribe if you haven't. I started not to do this on Sunday, and I put it off for another week because, well, I've just been tired. But I still pull it together and come out to do it. Next week we might do it on a controversial person. Who knows? My ideas, they just come to me out of the blue. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.